In 1959, 9 experienced hikers entered the Ural Mountains. They never came back. When rescuers found their bodies, they discovered something that defied explanation. Some were frozen in their underwear, others had their tongues ripped out, and one had radiation burns. The Soviet government blamed an avalanche. The locals blamed something else. The Leshy, the ancient guardian of the forest who doesn't like visitors. This is the creature that makes people disappear, not by killing them, but by making them lose themselves forever. Every culture has a boogeyman, but the Slavic world, they have something worse. The Leshy isn't a monster, he's the forest itself. He can be as tall as the trees or as small as a blade of grass. He can mimic any voice, lead you in circles for days, or make you forget your own name. And unlike other creatures of folklore, the Leshy isn't evil, he's territorial. And you're trespassing. For over 1,500 years, people have whispered his name before entering the woods. They leave offerings. They turn their clothes inside out. They pray he's sleeping. Because when the Leshy wakes up, people vanish. And sometimes they come back wrong. The Leshy, or Lesovic, Lesavoy, Borovi, first appears in pre-Christian Slavic mythology. He's not a demon, he's not a god, he's something in between, a nature spirit who owns every tree, every stone, every animal in his domain. The old stories describe him like this.
He has green skin like moss, a beard of leaves, and eyes that glow blue. He can grow to 100 feet tall or shrink to the size of a mushroom. He laughs like the wind and cries like a dying wolf.
His feet are backwards, so his tracks lead you the wrong way. He has no shadow, because he is the shadow. But here's the thing, the Leshy isn't inherently evil. He protects the forest from those who would harm it. Cut down too many trees, he'll make you lost. Kill animals for sport, you won't leave alive. Respect his domain, he might even help you. But disrespect it, well, let me tell you about the Dyatlov Pass.
February 1959. 9 hikers from the Ural-Polytechnical Institute set up camp on the slope of Kolak Syakol, Dead Mountain in the local Mansi language. Something made them cut their tent from the inside and flee into minus 30 degrees Celsius weather in their underwear. The official report says avalanche, but here's what it doesn't explain. No avalanche debris was found.
Their footprints showed they walked calmly away from Cap. 3 had fatal internal injuries with no external wounds. 1 was missing her tongue, eyes, and lips. Their clothes had traces of radiation. The Mansi people refused to help with the search. When asked why, an elder said the forest guardian was angry. They camped on his sacred ground. When the Leshy is angry, he makes you see things that aren't there and not see things that are. In 2019, the Russian government reopened the case. Their new conclusion? Avalanche. But they classified 41 documents. Why classify an avalanche? For centuries, Slavic people have known how to survive the Leshy. These aren't superstitions. They're survival tactics passed down by people who learned the hard way. The do's. Turn your clothes inside out when entering the forest. It confuses him. Leave bread and salt at the forest edge. He sees it as payment. Announce yourself. Grandfather Forest, I mean no harm. Never whistle. It's how he calls his pack of wolves. If lost, sit down and take off your shoes. Put them on the wrong feet. It breaks his spell. The don'ts. Never curse in the forest. He takes it personally. Don't cut living wood without asking permission. Don't sleep under a pine tree. That's where he rests. Never follow mysterious lights or familiar voices. Don't count the trees. He'll notice you're mapping his territory. Break these rules, you become one of the forest-touched, people who return from the woods but are never quite right again. You'd think GPS and satellite phones would end the disappearances. They haven't. Case 1. The Malikov Children, 2001, Russia. 3 children, ages 8 to 12, vanished in the Perm forest during a family picnic. Search teams found them 11 days later, 70 kilometers away, in a perfect circle of dead trees. They had no memory of the time lost, but kept repeating, "The tall man showed us the way." They'd survived without food or water. Doctors couldn't explain it. Case 2. Viktor Polinsky, 2009, Belarus. An experienced hunter entered the Bialowesia forest and vanished for 6 months. When he returned, his hair had turned white, and he claimed he'd only been gone 3 hours. He told police, "The forest kept changing. North became south, day became night, and something was laughing." He never hunted again. Case 3. The smartphone footage, 2018, Poland. A group of teenagers live-streamed their hike in the Bisz Mountains. At 3:47 p.m., viewers noticed something strange in the background. A tall figure in the background, moving between trees, getting closer. The teens didn't see it. At 3:51, the stream cut out. They were found 18 hours later, walking in circles, phones dead, repeating, "We need to follow him home." The footage was deleted from all platforms within days. Case 4. The Finnish Battalion, 2020. During a NATO exercise, an entire Finnish reconnaissance unit, 12 soldiers, got lost in familiar training grounds. Their GPS showed them 50 kilometers from their actual location. Radio contact was bizarre. They reported seeing medieval villages and paths that shouldn't exist. Found after 72 hours, several required psychiatric evaluation. The incident was classified. Trees growing in impossible spirals, creating natural labyrinths. In 2021, a team from Moscow State University studied Leshy hotspots. Their conclusion? There are areas of forest that actively resist human presence through mechanisms we don't understand. The lead researcher quit academia and became a priest. Not all Leshy encounters end badly. Sometimes he helps, but always for a price.
The Mushroom Picker's Deal, 1952. An old woman named Daria made a deal with the Leshy. She could gather mushrooms in his forest if she brought him tobacco every new moon. For 40 years, she never got lost, always found the best spots, and lived to 97. On her deathbed, she warned her granddaughter, "Never miss a payment. He remembers."
The Lost Child of Siberia, 1978. A 4-year-old boy disappeared in the Siberian taiga. After 5 days, he was found alive, well-fed and warm. He said the forest grandfather had taken care of him, bringing berries and keeping the wolves away. Search teams found wolf tracks circling the spot where he was found, but never coming closer than 10 meters. The Poacher's Punishment, 2006. A notorious poacher in Ukraine boasted he'd killed a record number of deer. One night, he was found naked in the forest, covered in deer blood, but unharmed. He claimed the Leshy had shown him what the animals feel. He became a vegetarian and donated his guns to the police. The Leshy's favorite game isn't killing, it's confusion. Here's how survivors describe his tricks.
The false path. You're following a clear trail. You've been on it dozens of times, but today it leads somewhere else. You turn back, but the way you came is gone. This is the Leshy's signature move.
The familiar voice. You hear your mother calling, your child crying, your friend laughing. You follow the sound, but it's always just out of reach, leading you deeper. By the time you realize it's not them, you're lost. The time slip. You walk for what feels like hours. The sun doesn't move. Your watch stops. When you finally escape, days have passed, or mere minutes. Time doesn't work right in the Leshy's domain. The double. The most terrifying trick. You meet yourself in the forest. It looks like you, sounds like you, but something's wrong. It tries to lead you somewhere. Those who follow are never seen again. Here's what's truly terrifying. Leshy sightings are increasing. Climate change, deforestation, urbanization. The forests are shrinking, and the Leshy is getting angry. Recent incidents suggest he's adapting. 2019, Romania. Hikers report their phones showing maps of forests that don't exist until they follow them and get lost. 2021, Estonia. Drone footage captures a figure that appears to be 30 feet tall, walking through trees without disturbing them. 2022, Russia. An entire logging camp abandons work after equipment starts moving on its own and workers hear their dead relatives calling from the trees. 2023, Poland. A viral TikTok shows a forest where compasses spin wildly and all sound stops. The creator deletes their account after claiming something followed me home. 2024, Finland. Military satellites detect humanoid heat signatures in uninhabited forests that disappear when investigated. The Leshy isn't just a myth. He's not just a metaphor for getting lost. He's what happens when humanity forgets that we're not the only intelligence on this planet. The forest has a guardian, and he's been watching us for millennia. Every missing hiker, every unexplained disappearance, every person who walks into the woods and comes out changed, or doesn't come out at all, they're reminders that some places still belong to something older than us. So the next time you enter a forest and the birds suddenly stop singing, when the path you know becomes a path you don't, when you hear your name whispered by trees, remember this. The Leshy isn't evil. He's not good. He's nature itself, and nature doesn't care about you. Turn your shirt inside out. Leave your offering. Say your prayer. And whatever you do, don't look back when you leave, because the Leshy never forgets a face. And if he decides you belong to the forest, you'll never leave again. If you're brave enough, like if you'll never camp alone again. Subscribe for more suppressed history. And hit the bell, because the Leshy isn't the only thing watching from the woods.